Now, channelstv.com has more information for you, and on youtube.com/channelsweb, you can watch our videos. You can also watch us on your mobile device via your browser, that is, or download the Channels TV app for Android and iOS devices from their respective stores. Besides giving you access to news updates on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app has an eyewitness feature that you can use to share pictures, videos, or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu, and then follow the instructions. Nigeria's former president, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, is advocating a strong voice and action from opposition parties in order to rescue the nation's democracy from decline. Chief Obasanjo was speaking in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, while receiving in audience members of the People's Democratic Party from the Southwest who were on a courtesy visit. The former president, however, solicited the support of men and women of goodwill across party lines towards making the country great again.
We only make allowance for those a strong voice and a strong action in opposition. Once we do not have a strong voice and a strong action in opposition, then we do not have a strong democracy. And you don't necessarily have to be president to make a difference, or government to make a difference. If you can, of course, you can make a better difference, for good or for evil. But in whatever little position you are, you not only can you make a difference, you must make a difference. For me, Nigeria go better. But if Nigeria go better, it requires effort of men and women of goodwill across party lines. The party is a platform. What matters is the individual.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo. And we move straight to our Abuja studios now, where Linda Akiba is waiting with more news. Hello, Linda.
Hello, Ladi. Now, more on politics. The National Assembly has begun an induction program for incoming federal lawmakers-elect to educate them on the workings of a National Assembly. At induction exercise, lawmakers encouraged to take seriously the matter of electing the leadership of a 9th National Assembly.
The powers of the Senate.
These are the legislators who will be representing Nigerians in the National Assembly in the next 4 years. Their constituents who voted for them in the 2019 elections expect these legislators to protect their interests, attract infrastructure to their communities, and enact legislations which will make life better. To meet these aspirations, the incoming legislators must understand the workings of a National Assembly, and it is for this reason that this induction exercise is organized by the National Assembly management. The very first task they will perform after being sworn in is to elect the leadership of the Senate and House of Representatives, a task which is becoming contentious as the ruling party takes a definite stand on who should emerge as a Senate President and a Speaker.
What is important is for the members and the Senate elects to decide and look who best will lead them. Presiding officer that will have the confidence of the members so that they can have stability in the National Assembly.
I'm running for the seat of the Senate presidency. I believe that my colleagues will give me that opportunity by the grace of God, and I intend to work with all my colleagues, regardless of their political persuasions, to ensure that we deliver the dividends of democracy by working together.
The choice of individuals in particular zones is the choice of our own party. And the choice of our party, as far as we are concerned, is what we consider sacrosanct. The party supremacy issue this time around has to work.
Beyond the makeup of the leadership of both chambers, the 9th National Assembly has to confront a perception challenge which has plagued previous assemblies, according to the Senate President, and chart a course for the incoming assembly.
The public perceives the National Assembly
over the years, due to many reasons or the other, is not very positive. It's a very negative perception.
The challenge is that of effective communication between the institution and the public. Once you don't give room for speculation of what is going on, there is less error of perception.
We can tinker on by way of review, by way of amendment, or by way of new legislations that are going to create an enabling environment in Nigeria for job opportunities and businesses to thrive.
It will be intriguing to see if these lawmakers would act on these suggestions to not only improve the image of Parliament, but also make life better for their constituents. And still on the National Assembly, the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, insists that the upper chamber has the powers to confirm or reject ministerial nominees as spelled out in the Constitution. He, however, explains that in a situation where the Senate rejects a nominee, the President has the right to present a new nominee or deploy a political solution, namely lobbying the Senate for its preferred candidate. The Senate President made these remarks at induction of incoming lawmakers-elect in response to a question from an incoming lawmaker on the impasse regarding the confirmation of a chairman of Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ibrahim Magu.
In the case of appointments of those, for example, chairman EFCC that we saw, also by the Constitution is very, very clear what the powers of the Senate is. For any nominee, whether it's chairman of the EFCC, guided by the Constitution, it is an appointment made by the President subject to the confirmation of the Senate, which means the Senate has the powers to either say yes or say no. In a situation where the Senate rejects, again, it is up to the executive at that time to send a replacement, or in some cases we have seen where we've had appointment rejected and where the executive will represent again put before the Senate. But if the Senate again for whatever decision decides to reject, but things like this in every democracy, despite the Constitution, there must be political solutions. There must be dialogue. It is not only in our country. You will see it in other even developed democracies, even in America that we copy, where confirmations come and the executive is seen to be lobbying the legislative. If you have a candidate, they go and lobby and say, look, this is who we want. This is the reason that we want it. Because the powers are with you. And I think part of ensuring a very stable democracy is to see the two arms of government engaging to see, and so I will not reach it. But if we go by the Constitution here, the powers are with the National Assembly. I just thought I need to clarify that.
Away from Parliament, a lot of the insecurity perpetrated by armed bandits, terrorists and kidnappers is launched from a nation's forests. And to combat security challenges in forests and what it calls protected areas, the Nigerian Army is working in synergy with officers of the National Park Service. The Chief of Policy and Plans, Major General Ali Nani, says the cooperation has become imperative because thousands of animals are being chased out of their natural habitats.
From Sambisa Forest in the northeast to Zamfara and Katsina Forest in the northwest, cases of security challenges still persist as hundreds are killed owing to the activities of bandits, armed militia groups and terrorists who hide in these forests. Although government's effort at curtailing their activities has yielded some level of result, more intervention is needed. From now onwards, the Nigerian Army will be working in close collaboration with other paramilitary agencies to reduce the trend to the barest minimum.
The activities of bandits and criminal elements in such protected areas across the country through illegal logging, cattle rustling and other criminal vices. The intention of the Chief of Army Staff to bridge the insecurity occasioned by the gap created by these challenges to our national security through enhanced collaborations with relevant stakeholders.
The cooperation between the Army and the National Parks Service will also cover areas such as game reserves and national parks. This is expected to preserve the nation's forests and tourism heritage while securing the nation.
The expected collaboration from this seminar between the Nigerian Army, the military in general, the police, paramilitary organizations, and other security agencies is therefore an important step towards curtailing the security challenges peculiar to some of the forests, game reserve, and national parks in Nigeria that have been turned into safe havens and staging areas by bandits, criminal elements, cattle rustlers, kidnappers, robbers, and terrorists, to mention a few.
For 2 days, these officers will be deliberating on how to secure the nation's forest. Hopefully, this will help reduce the level of insecurity in the country and also keep our forests safe.
And that's all from Abuja. Back to you, Ladi.
Very much, Linda. The Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, says the federal government is working on an omnibus bill for the facilitation of business. According to the Vice President, the initiative, the first of its kind in Nigeria, will address all the concerns of the country's business environment, in addition to solutions being provided by the Economic and Recovery Growth Plan. Our correspondent, Yomi Otaibe, reports.
The main auditorium of the University of Lagos plays host to a large turnout of guests for the convocation lecture, which kicks off activities for the 50th convocation ceremony of the university.
All members of Senate.
Present at the occasion is Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, who is the keynote speaker. He's joined by the administrators of the university, distinguished guests from the academia, the chairman and members of the Unilag Alumni Association, the governor of Ekiti State, heads of federal government agencies and parastatals, and members of the private sector.
Today, we are marching on
with a welcome address by the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Oluwatoyin Ogundepe, and the opening speech by the chairman of the occasion, Ambassador Arthur Mbanefo. The stage is set for the guest lecturer to speak to the theme, Nigeria Rising, the Path to Prosperity. While looking back on the role of what he describes as grand corruption in Nigeria, which has led to failure to build adequate infrastructure in the country, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo talks about what the present government is doing to put Nigeria back on the path to prosperity.
One, prioritize the building of infrastructure. We diversify the economy from oil and gas. 3, the fight against corruption, especially public sector corruption. 4, developing a new educational curriculum that emphasizes science, technology, engineering, arts, and maths, and also emphasizes some of those critical skills needed for the jobs of the 21st century. 5, a new approach to resourcing healthcare. 6, a social investment program that deals with issues of extreme poverty and unemployment. The Economic Recovery and Growth Plan effectively addressed many of these issues that I've mentioned.
Professor Osinbajo also uses the occasion to touch on the disturbing issue of out-of-school children in the country.
Today we have all sorts of figures. We have out-of-school children, some say 10 million, some say it's increased, and all of that. So we really have to ensure that the states provide more resources and that we back the states as much as we can with resources for education and healthcare.
As the 50th convocation activities of the University of Lagos continue till Friday, April the 5th, when it's expected to come to a close, many at this event may be looking forward to the implementation of the economic plans enumerated here by the Vice President of Nigeria. Yomi Otaibe, Channels Television News.